I now yield back and recognize the gentlelady from Illinois, Ms. Schakowsky, for 5 minutes for her questions.
Well, I just want to say to you as our activist, as the person who has been working on this issue, how many years? I can't hear.
8 years.
8 years? And has anything really changed in that time?
We've seen small improvements, but they were all self-funded, self-paid. Our utilities invested, I was really shocked to hear that it's going to cost a community $400 million because combined in Wilmington and Brunswick County for us to upgrade a massive PFAS contamination problem. Brunswick County is looking at $167 million, and Wilmington looked at $43 million with ongoing kind of recurring maintenance costs. But a lot of that is dictated by the pollution upstream of us. If that pollution was removed, then the cost to treat our water would go down.
Well, I just want to thank you for your continuing to work on this as pretty much a regular citizen, and it seems to me that a whole lot more needs to be done. But what I wanted to ask you is that how are we going to help children the most, although it's not only children, right? You were talking about other family members and friends that are affected. But what can we do to help you, at the very least, to help the children?
Quite honestly, I don't see these permit shields and weakening CERCLA as a path forward that's going to help any of us. What we need are stronger policies. We need, like I said, the Resource Conservation Recovery Act, RCRA, to have all PFAS listed as a class. Under that is hazardous waste. That then unlocks a whole suite of resources that could be at the disposal of local, state, and federal governments. I think it is misguided for us to continue to have a conversation about who shouldn't be blamed. This is a problem that none of us created, and it's going to be really hard to get out of it, but I'm already putting my children's life on the line. You know, when we talk about uncertainty factors, it is devastating to be told that you have a cancer that no one has treatment for, but you got maybe 2 years left to live. And that's what Kara's mom is dealing with. That is an uncertainty factor that is soul-shattering. I think at this point, I would really appreciate if Congress could look at banning PFAS as a class, making sure that the replacements are rooted in green chemistry, ensure that the polluters pay, because right now we are self-paying for the cleanup. We don't want this in our water. We did demand that our utilities make the investments to clean it up. And I think we need to also pay attention that some of these utilities, like my utility in Brunswick County, hadn't had a major upgrade since the 1980s. It was time for them to upgrade their infrastructure. They were working in 20th century technology, but we're in a 21st century environment with 21st century chemicals. It is time for us to make sure that we are treating water as sacred as it is, because it is a basic need, it is a human right, and we need to stop allowing business-related human rights abuses to occur.
So are pretty wealthy companies like DuPont involved in your community?
They're involved heavily upstream. They're a significant employer. They employ about 500 workers. And the problem that we're seeing is that these workers are dealing with a double exposure. They have the potential for contaminated groundwater if they're on private wells, or they're having the issue with public water supplies also being contaminated while going into a work environment that is not necessarily putting the needs of them over the needs of the product. You know, some things that I've heard workers joke about is that they're given clean suits, but it's not necessarily to protect them, it's to protect the product. You know, this needs to be a shift, a cultural change. If we're going to play with the devil, because that's exactly what this chemistry is, the fact that it lives forever, we're playing God here with these things, and we're not treating them with the care that they need to be treated with, and understanding that this is a very dangerous proposition to be using this chemistry.
In terms of the children, do we have any particular efforts to be able to protect our kids?
No, women carry an incredible body burden related to PFAS. And in fact, babies are being born contaminated. Breast milk is contaminated. I have had women call me and ask me how to put filters inside their houses just to try and create a protective bubble for themselves because they are terrified of increasing their
But
exposure.
it would be their effort.
Yes, their effort
protect.
inside their home. And it's nearly impossible. That's the one thing that we've learned, is that sometimes Chemours will pay for a a filter under the sink, but they won't put one on a shower. We have backyard gardens that are contaminated with PFAS right now. Coming from Chemours, we can trace back the signature of PFAS that's being released in the
Gentlewoman's
air.
time has expired. Sorry to cut you off.
Are you clicking me because we're done? Okay.
Well,
Well, I'm gonna yield back, but let me just say one thing as an activist myself. You are doing everything you can, but the result is too small right now, and we have to fight. I mean, all the people need to understand that our kids are at risk right now. Thank you. I yield back.